Good afternoon, my fellow dispatchers and all colleagues and friends in truck and business. Well, it's a nice kind of rainy storm outside in Chicago, so hopefully our stream is not going to be interrupted. Well, happy Monday. Monday in trucking is usually comes with a new stress. And today we're not going to be learning something new. We're not going to go over terminology. We're not going to go over some uh, issues we have all the time. We're going to talk about why. Why is it so stressful to be a part of trucking industry? And for many of you, especially for women in trucking business, you will get to point of your life when you just need to sit down, relax, and start managing your stress. So, first, before we're gonna start, hopefully I can see some comments, I can see some friendly faces, and of course, we would love you to share our stream. We want to make sure that you subscribe and you are active part of our channel. Um, we started our new June class. We actually just finished our third class and we started safety and compliance this weekend. So let's begin with the first advice that I'm going to give you. Stress comes from not having enough knowledge. So if you are lacking knowledge on any level in trucking position, and I can tell you this, let's say we have dispatchers. Dispatchers are under the stress because they are in between, right? They are in between brokers. They are in between drivers. They are in between management. The dispatchers have to deal with shippers. The dispatchers have to deal with receivers. So actually, dispatchers probably have the highest stress level in trucking. Then we have drivers on the road. They have a different stress level. First, they are professional drivers. They understand the liability they are carrying by driving on a road with big truck and trailer, right? It's a big machinery. They have stress all the time. Traffic, other humans who cut you off when they should not do that. Shippers, receivers not loading, unloading you on time, that you have to speed, that you have to worry about your hours of service, and it's physically hard. Can you picture yourself sitting and driving for nonstop 5, 6, 7 hours? Then you go and you try to take a shower, and it's a bunch of people waiting for the shower. You don't really eat well, you don't really sleep well. So it's a different level of stress. It's not an easy job to be a professional truck driver. So the stress builds up. Dispatchers are stressed on different level, right? We have to deal with the rude brokers. We have to deal with the nonsense. We have to deal with people lying to us about schedule appointment, about the weight. We have to make sure that all the rate confirmations are exactly have the details that we were discussing, right? And it's a lot of scams going on. So then we have those two parties who have to interact, and it's a drivers and dispatchers. So picture yourself, you as a dispatcher sitting answering the phone, especially right now, market went down. If it took me before 2 hours, 2.5 hours to cover 7, 8 trucks, now it's taken me, wow, 4, 5, 6 hours. And some of you, without experience, you guys try to cover the truck. You sit from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's not because of maybe lack of the knowledge, but because market is down. So the stress activates. So we change our voice. We answer route to broker. We answer route to this to driver. Driver blames us for the low market. It's not our fault. We take it personally. So all of this becoming the toxic relationship. So let's kind of stop right here. all of you, drivers, dispatchers, safety managers, owners of the trucking company. Let's just look at this as an environment which is already stressful enough, and how can we improve our work floor? How can we improve our relationships and don't get to that often when we start avoiding each other, when we start hanging up that phone, when we simply start hating working with each other? Because if any of you watching, please, I want to see comments. How many times it got to the point where it's becoming impossible for work with dispatcher or work with a driver or even work with your own husband? How many of you girls are dispatching your husbands? How much tension the trucking puts on your family life? How much tension it puts the way you talk to each other? And it all comes from the lack of understanding that we need to step back. We need to reorganize our process. We need to understand that it is market. And a lot of times, just because you're going to be sitting and looking at that load board, it doesn't mean that the load's going to start paying more 5 minutes later, unless you're waiting for the magical load, right? So we need to start respecting each other. But for dispatchers, let's start with dispatchers. First, I want you to really start organizing your time. And by organizing time, I want you to make priorities. And your priority right now in this low market is to build relationships, better relationships with the brokers, because only this will help you to survive right now. So let's see, what steps can you do? Well, first, you can give updates right away. You want to make sure that you are the first one who calls and tells, well, we on schedule, we checked in, everything is okay, we received clean POD, here you go. You want to be the first one who is gonna do that, right? You don't want bunch of phone calls from tracking department, and you actually want to talk to person who you really book your load with. Because if you guys work with bigger companies, TQL, Coyote, CH Robinson, Conway, you're gonna reach out too many people. So giving update just to the tracking department, look at this, from all this rain, now we're gonna have sunshine. Well, I will need to cover up the sun. So let me just show you our So sorry, guys. I had to cover that sunshine. I did not think that we would have the sun when we had a storm 5 minutes ago. I guess Chicago for you. You have to love to be in Chicago. Raining, becoming sunny 5 minutes later. So giving updates is important. Making sure that you ask about backhaul, about how often do they have this load, because if you got a good load today, the chances are they do have this load tomorrow, day after, maybe they do it once a week. And if you really did a good job, if your driver picked up on time, if you delivered on time, if you gave them update, believe it or not, they will love working with you. That's why my day starts with reaching out to brokers who I know that they have a good load, right? So today I had to cover 5 trucks. For 5 trucks, 3 of the trucks were covered with my previous brokers because I know the area. I keep my book, and actually, I don't really keep my book anymore because I remember every load. Don't do that. You don't want to put everything in your head. Your brain has to be able to relax. Okay, don't do like me. Do better than me, right? So just start writing the book. Well, this was a good load. Why? Why was it a good load? Was it an easy transit? Was it an easy shipping and receiving? Was money good? Did your driver said that, you know what, it was not that heavy? I like to do this again. So even if you have a different carrier, because most of you not dispatching only one carrier, you dispatching two three different carriers, you can turn other trucks to this load and you can work in a circle. So asking about backhaul, asking how often do they have, and sometimes, yeah, they will pay you a little less, but still, if you do a good job, they will give you extra money. Because in the end of the day, if I am a broker, I would like to have reliable carrier who is picking up on time, who is delivering on time, who has a great communication skills, but also solve the problems. Do problems uh become our everyday routine? Yes. And you need to solve the problems. Trucks do break down. Trucks do get into accidents. Drivers sometimes they are not robots. Sometimes they forgot to put alarm. But you as a dispatcher, you are the person who have to cut those corners, right? Instead of the square, your relationship should be a circle, right? In my classes, most of you know that I am teaching you that you have to build that circle, right? The smooth circle, loading, unloading, reloading, going back, making profits. So cutting the corners with building relationship and correct report to the brokers is a number one job for dispatcher. And by doing that, you will eliminate lots of stress. Believe it or not, you will book the book of the people you like to work with. Now, let's say you are booking loads with brokers who constantly lie to you, with brokers who don't pay attention, with brokers who are not responsible, and they giving you lies after lies after lies. Even in this harsh market, guys, you cannot keep working with scammers. You cannot keep working with people who do not appreciate your driver. You have to eliminate those brokers. Unfortunately, we have enough brokers on market. Even in this harsh market, you can find different load. So don't punish yourself, because if you are trusting the broker who lied to you already twice, three times, you are simply punishing yourself. You are simply punishing your driver, and tensions come back. The toxic relationship comebacks because your driver is gonna blame on you, because you are the one who is giving a chance again to this broker. And preventing all of this loading, not loading, appointments can be simply improved by you making an extra step. So, what are we going to do? Well, you negotiate rate confirmation, you receive rate confirmation, you look at details. Are we going to trust the brokers 100%? No, we're not going to trust the brokers 100%, because now we are professional dispatchers. And professional dispatchers, they're going to Google the facility, they're going to make phone call, because you have pickup number, you have delivery number. Especially if we are talking about strict pickup and delivery. And if they cannot find you in a system, if appointment was never made or it's TBD to be determined, well, you have to be naive to send your truck for loading. And if you keep doing this and then you get stuck and you sit somewhere for a day or two or three because my appointment was not made, well, the driver has a right to be pissed at you, because simply you did not do your job correctly. Extra phone call. So you making two calls. You are verifying that product is ready, and you verifying that delivery schedule. Even if it says first come, first serve, Even if it says that they open till 7 p.m., this is only two calls for you that you will see exactly, is that the truth? And believe me, you're gonna save so much time for yourself and for your driver, and they're gonna start liking and loving working with you, right? Let's go back. What do we need to ask our driver? Well, we need to ask our driver to be a part of our team. We need report from them. When they check in, when they check out, when they get a dog, they should simply text us. They don't have to call. We're too busy to answer phone calls, especially now when we have to make extra 20 calls or 15 calls to get that magical load, which has higher rate per mile, right? So your drivers have to agree to work the way it's easier for you to manage this stressful job. For me personally, because we had a class on Sunday and one of the students asked me, Alex, what are your rules? What are your requirements for your carriers? So, one of my requirements, if you want me to dispatch you, it's updating me. I don't need update how was your sleep. I don't need update how great was your lunch, but I need update. I checked in. I have a dog. Seems like facility is busy, not busy. So I know what's going on because usually I already have pre-booked a load. So it helps me to help you. Do I need to push it to pick up later? Do I need to maybe cancel and start looking for something else? So if the dispatcher and driver have a great communication skills, we're gonna eliminate that extra stress, right? And you don't have to beg for these updates. You have to have this as a routine. Check in, check out, on my way, right? What else do I want to know? I want to make sure that I get a picture of you closing that door, right? Before you close the door, I want to see how you secure the cargo. Why do I want that picture? I want that picture because when we have damages, when we have rejections due to the damage, and they always blame trucking company, at least I have an extra proof that you know what, guys, we did secure the load. We did not have extra space. We asked for the airbags. We actually secured correctly, right? We even use extra straps. So that picture is gonna help me in future if you get to the circumstances where you might have some rejection of the product due to damages, right? Because they always want to blame carrier. So is it hard for the driver to take one picture a day? No, it's not that hard. Is that easy for me to see what's going on? And sometimes I can even help the driver say, you know what, please, can you go back to the office and ask them to reload you, right? We need to make sure that drivers pay attention to the weight. They have to go to scales if they know that the load is heavier. If they are not that good drivers yet, if they don't have extra system on their trailers, if they don't have newer trucks, because nowadays we can see it on the gouges if we are overweight. Professional driver, when he drives, he can feel if he is overweight or not. So eliminating overweight out of services is gonna help us, because you think that you can just go around weight station, then you're not gonna get stopped because everybody else does it. Well, it works sometimes for some people. It works for years and years and years. They never gonna go to weight station that wait to drive at night. They say I'm so lucky, but this is not a practice which gonna help you succeed. First, we will know for sure if we okay to drive. And if by any chance you are overweight, reach out to your dispatcher right away, because I don't really sit and look at all the EODs every second to see if you are driving, if you are going. But if you have to go and reload, I have to do my duties. First, I have to make sure that you get compensated if you had to drive 30, 40 miles to scale. I need to make sure I reach out right away to whom? To shippers so they can wait for you. I need to make sure that I do it right away, not after an hour while you went to shower and then you decide, oh, I'm gonna drive back, and a shipper already closed down because they work only till 4 p.m. Then you screaming at me, wow, I am overweight. It is your fault because you told me it's going to be 38,000 on the weight. Well, we already discussed this over and over and over again, that trucking is not an honest business. And I wish that every broker who tenders us the load will be 100% honest about cargo, about pallets, about the weight. But a lot of times they do not give correct information because, unfortunately, a lot of times they don't even have 100% information. So that's why teamwork between dispatcher and driver is a must to survive. Well, sometimes you get into a relationship when you feel that driver is never happy with your work. Driver never thinks that your plan is a good plan. And if it's an owner operator, well, can you keep working with him? Can you be in that miserable state of mind doing this job, finding the loads, and hearing every day, not good enough, market sucks, you could have done better? Can you keep doing this job? I don't think so. But a lot of people are just trying to close their mouths because they're like, oh my God, I have to. He's my carrier. Guys, don't do this mistake because you have to have good relationship. Otherwise, you're going to start hating dispatching. And when you start hating your job, the broker is gonna hear in their voice, the driver gonna hear in your voice, and you guys gonna build that unhealthy relationship. We have already enough stress with being on the road, with safety, compliance, with shippers, receivers, brokers. So we need to eliminate that. If you guys cannot get to the same level, you should say goodbye to each other, right? It's always going to be another carrier. It's always going to be the person who looks at the business the same way. But before you say goodbye, you should give it a chance. And by giving a chance, you as a dispatcher, you need to have enough knowledge to validate your plan. You need to have enough knowledge even about profitability. You need to know what's best for the carrier. Sometimes they are so stressed out about payments, about driving, about family, about brokers, that they are simply not understanding that you switching them to different markets because you want to do better for them, because you want them to be profitable. But if you're not explaining this to them, if you're not validating this with data, information, dollar sign, that's why we're gonna go move to Midwest, because market is down. We're not gonna stay on East Coast. We come back there when market's gonna pay. That's why instead of taking one long load, we're gonna combine two shorter loads because you're gonna make more profit. That's why you're gonna do restart right now so we can take longer load over weekend, which gonna pay better. So in the end of the week, in the end of the month, the numbers are actually validating your reasoning. You cannot just keep hating each other and fighting and denying. Oh my God, Max, my cat, he's my best assistant and he's bored. He wants to go outside. Sorry, guys, for all the noises. So you cannot keep fighting each other. You need to talk to each other. And if the owner operator looks at the business differently, well, then you have to ask him, what are you really want me to do? If you want only to come from Dallas to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma to Memphis, let's say Tennessee, Tennessee to Dallas, that's a circle you want to do, a triangle, and you want to be home on Friday, well, I'm going to do my best. But I cannot make you more money if you're not willing to change your driving, right? If you're not willing to go to different markets, so that's what it is. So I would start my day with posting the truck and actually taking screenshot of power dad and showing him how many loads total on the board, what is the highest paying load, and sometimes highest paying load is not the load you want to book anyway. I want to see him what's going to happen in Memphis tomorrow, and then I also going to throw him a little snack and say, well, if we can go from Oklahoma and instead of going, let's say, to Memphis, we're gonna just go to Iowa and then come back to Dallas, you will have $800 extra in profit. And if he's okay with idea, then you little by little start switching his game and you go with the market, right? You have to know your trips, your skill. I mean your steps. So first, you always post what's going on there tomorrow, day after. You need to know what you're gonna be dealing with. And in my classes, I talk about this all the time because because I do believe that just looking at monthly data, 2 week quick research, this is not enough. So I will post the truck tomorrow. I want to receive phone calls. I want to see how many phone calls I'll get because I am not afraid of phone calls. So I always post my equipment even if I am planning to go there. So I see who called me, who is a broker. I make 2, 3 phone calls, and it helps me to make my move. Should I even go there? Because whatever was there yesterday might not work today. Market switches. And if you are new, if you don't have experience, if you're driver new and you just guys trying to chase this market, right? Oh, I'm gonna go to Canada. Today my driver got a new idea because he has a login to Power Dad and he's like, they have a posted load today. Go to Alaska. That's it. He has only 2 trucks. Okay. Can we go to Alaska? Well, you can go open the Canadian authority. But how good are your trucks? Do you have a specialty trucks? You want to go to Alaska in the winter time? This is like kind of, like looking at something and not realizing what is it gonna take. Wow, you need to go invest money right now in this market to open Canadian authority, right? You need to add extra insurance. You need to make sure that your trucks are really in good condition because you don't want to have breakdown somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Canadian province when you do not have even maintenance account. So looking at the market and just seeing today load for 15,000, well, it's great. It's just like, I mean, I don't even waste time. I like, okay, you know what? If you decide to go to Canada, if you gonna get Canadian authority, for me, doesn't matter where do I have to send you. You want to start driving to the moon? I will learn the market and I will send you to the moon. As long as you understand, is this gonna be good for you as a carrier? Is that going to make profit for you? Or you might, with your own hands, create more headaches and problems. Because again, going through the Canada, your equipment has to be in a good condition. You need to know how to drive through the Canada, go to Alaska. You need to make sure you have extra money for insurance, for breakdowns, for everything else. If you do not have this idea is not a good idea. This is just maybe a topic for conversation on your backyard. Oh, maybe I should do this or maybe not. So in trucking, when market goes down, every idea has to be really, really calculated. Fuel cost, insurance cost, what is it gonna take you? Is it gonna be easy to find a driver? People jumping. Well, reefers pay better now. So they start switching from drive-in to reefer. The difference is not that big, right? Maybe 10% higher than drive-in. But if you own trucking company, now you switch into reefers, what's happening? You cutting probably 20% of drivers, because a lot of drivers, they do not want to work with reefer trailers. Why? Liability, noise, strict appointments, early appointments. So you think that you're going to make 10% more, but then you end up not having drivers, right? Yesterday, last week, one of my students, and I don't know if she's watching, if she's watching today or not, she texted me and she called me and we talked for a few hours, and of course it was not an easy conversation. She was hysterically crying. She has been upset because they're a smaller company. So she learned how to dispatch. She does a great job, but they were not ready for market to go down, right? Everybody got the expensive trucks last year. Everybody started paying the drivers. So when we were talking with her, I like, okay, so how much do you pay your driver? And when we start calculating really how much she's paying the driver, it's like $10 per mile. How can you afford to pay $10 per mile in this market? Do you know your cost? So they already working in minus. So she's happy because her husband had to go back. Now he's working to cover all these minuses. But she's frustrated because what happened? Her drivers got so comfortable that they are getting paid no matter what, 500 bucks a day. Why he should pick up on time? Why he should deliver on time? Why he should even worry about how not to use correct ELD? He was getting paid 500 bucks a day no matter what, and they were demanding to be home every Friday. So it was doable when the market was paying because she was still making money. But now, after 2 months in a bad market, she's already losing her mind. So they are putting stress on her by not picking up on time, delivering on time, and giving her attitude. So she called and said, Alex, what is your advice? Well, and here is advice. This is a toxic relationship between you as a dispatcher, between you as the owner of the company and the drivers. I'm sorry, but sometimes it's going to be cheaper for you to have the truck sitting on a parking lot without driver when you actually adding more money than you making. So sometimes saying goodbye to certain drivers and attitudes, this is a must. To stay sane, actually keep doing your job and surviving, right? It took her a while. It took her a while to adjust to this thought. And I told her, well, first, when every driver tells you, I am going to quit now because somebody else is paying, believe it or not, we have a lot of promises that they will pay you $2 per mile, $1.50. By the time you switch to my company, by the time they take your social security deposit, by the time you're gonna get used to new dispatcher, it's gonna take you a few weeks. So by the time you move in all this, you're already losing money, right? As a driver. Secondary, if you were so spoiled in this situation, do you think you're gonna come to me and I'm still gonna meet your demands and you still not gonna pick up on time and deliver on time and you're gonna ruin a relationship that I built for years and years and years? I already went through that. I am not kissing nobody's butts anymore, guys. I'm not chasing the drivers. You want to work in a good company? You want dispatcher to do their job and make the best what markets offers right now? Then come and work with me. Otherwise, I'm sorry, life is too short. It's not worth it. So you need to sometimes sit down, reevaluate what's going on between your drivers and you. And I probably can see that some drivers are watching here and they're gonna tell me, well, without us, you would not make money. Without us, you're not gonna achieve anything. I can tell you that sometimes without dispatcher, without somebody opening the company, taking a risk, you guys also not gonna have a job. So this is has to be understanding from both sides. Do you want to be in a toxic relationship on any levels in your life, on your personal life, with your kids, with coworkers, with dispatcher, with driver. No, you do not. And trucking is so harsh because of the shortage of the drivers, because of stress levels, that sometimes we are losing that side, that, you know what, maybe it's time to rescale. Maybe it's time for me not to buy another truck, because I am not on that level mentally, emotionally, and I cannot really manage extra person who is gonna go against my principles, who is gonna make my company lose money. Because we, in the end of the day, owners of the company, we have liability. Drivers come and go, dispatchers come and go. You, as the owner of the company, this is you, you, and you. You have federal government after you. You have state government after you. You have DOT inspectors after you. You have banks who you have to pay payments after you. You have insurance companies. So trucking owners is not an easy position. Yeah, I know it seems like, right? When you look, everybody driving fancy cars. Yeah, because it's a lot of money can be made in trucking. But the stress level is so high that sometimes people forget to stop, reevaluate, and change the way they run the business. And I can tell you this: you cannot buy the house back, you cannot rebuild your marriages, you cannot buy time back, and somehow you just cannot be the same person if you work in stressful situation all the time. So, all of this comes with understanding principles of running business. And that's another big gap in trucking industry. We do have a lots and lots of people who came to trucking industry because they just thought that it's so easy. I just need the money to buy the truck. I'm just going to have the driver. I'm just going to dispatch, right? And they never improve. They never improve their logic. They never improve even their accounting skills. They never switch to even technology, right? Look at this. We have new tracking management software. We have extra load boards. We have the ways to minimize our time and actually spend the time for something better. Maybe growing in the business, maybe just taking time for yourself. Some people are stuck on the same level. And I can see this all the time when people who I know that have been in business for years, they come to take safety classes, or they finally admit, you know what, maybe I should take that dispatch class to see how it should go smoothly, right? So I feel bad for people who do not grow with everyday changes. I was reading the book a few days ago. Actually, no, I was watching Joe Dispenza, and he said that ignorance, not to learn something else, it's a choice. You have to be pretty ignorant not to learn something new. Doesn't matter on which level. If you're a driver, maybe you need to learn some mechanical tricks so you know what's going on with your truck, right? So you don't keep driving when you should kind of realize, well, you should not be driving, right? And then you are on highway and your water pump, or your sensors already telling you should not be driving, but you keep driving. Why? Because you never got that extra knowledge, because you never googled that stuff, because you simply don't pay attention, because you think, oh, it's okay, I can keep push that equipment, right? How many thousands of dollars are you spending because of your ignorance? How many people come in this business and their money management knowledge is not there? A lot. Putting and maintenance account, making sure that you have preventive maintenance on schedule is gonna improve your safety and compliance. You're gonna spend less money in the long run, right? Making sure that you check on your account payables, making sure that you are actually seeing what's going on, checking on your dispatchers, how are they handling conversation, what's going on in those emails, right? How are they replying? How are they representing your big trucking company? Do you check on that? Do you check how your dispatcher talks to maybe your factory or even your drivers? Do you ever have the meetings where you need to reconcile? And sometimes, if you work in a company where people don't get along, well, as the owner of the company, you need to make that decision and maybe switch driver and dispatcher. You're not gonna keep doing this to create all this negativity because trucking is already stressful. So, as a dispatcher, you need to organize your time. And I'm telling you one more time, start with updates, start with a plan. What is the most important thing you have to do in the morning? It's not just jumping and posting your truck. Because if you posted your truck and you did not calculate what is your rate per mile till this point, if you did not check if he's on schedule, you post in your truck what's happening, you starting with a rush, you're receiving phone calls and you're not ready for this. That's why take 10 minutes, put the uh, take a pen and put a piece of paper. Well, Mike needs to go home by Saturday. He is in Kentucky. Today is Monday. How can I route him that I will not jeopardize his time at home, because he told me he's taking home. So you need to understand the map, the mileage, what kind of equipment he runs, right? Because it's totally different between dispatching dry van, dispatching reefer, dispatching step decks because of type of equipment, of appointments, what we have to deal with, right? So make a plan, then prioritize. So first you need to post the trucks which you have to dispatch right now. Maybe they're on East Coast, maybe they're already empty. So you're gonna concentrate. You're not gonna post 6, 7 trucks at the same moment, because I can tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna start going crazy because if people call you, you're gonna start losing track. And yes, you might what? Cover the truck, which was easy to cover anyway, because if they calling you, that means that your truck is in demand. And you just losing the sight of that guy who really in not a good area, who already empty, because you feel like you're doing something, right? You busy. I mean, who can tell you that you're not dispatching? But you are not going in order. I'm very big on organizing and doing the steps. Preparation, taking care of this truck, next truck, next truck, next truck. And sometimes you will see improvement. Don't overkill yourself. Nowadays, with this market, it is important to pre book. While pre booking, you have to pay attention. What are you delivering? What kind of receiving it is going to be? Is it strict? Does it take a long time? So start reading those Google comments from the drivers. Look in the apps, because most of the apps, they already have stars. Easy. They even have approximate time. For example, Chibican, Coyote, XPO, they're gonna tell you how long does it take to load and unload in that facility. When you have that knowledge, you can pre-book. But if you guys pre-booking without knowing hours of service, if you are pre-booking without even looking when he's delivering, of course you're gonna fail, because it has to be first come first serve all day, right? And it has to be everything goes smooth, and your driver just driving magically, right? He's flying, he's just driving through the night, he's not stopping, he's not eating. It doesn't happen. So start putting things together. Hours of service, what kind of receivers, what shippers, eliminate that head. Start finding loads in the same city, in the same facility. That's what's gonna save you as a dispatcher, especially in this market. Eliminate time with chatting with drivers, especially drivers who want to control what are you booking. As I told you, if you signing up for my class, you're not signing up for the class how to become a secretary. You signing up for class how to become a pro, learn to make decision, have a strong foundation so you don't need to talk 20 times to Mike, to Chris, to Sergey, to Konstantin, right? Because you are a pro. I am going to give you strong foundation and you need to improve your skills so they will love working with you. And after you done, after you cover all the truck, after the invoicing is done, after pre-booking is done, then you might chat with your drivers. But until that point, stop all those conversation. Should I take this load for you or should I not? Should I take this load for you or should I not? Right? You know what he wants. You know when he needs to be home. You see what's going on the market. So for you, spending extra 5-10 minutes unfortunately is not gonna be the winning combination. By the time you talk to him, by the time the driver makes decision, what's gonna happen? That load is gone. Somebody already covered. Or actually, maybe now you were trying to go to Oklahoma and the load in Oklahoma actually booked. So now why are you sending him to Oklahoma? Well, because it took too long for you guys to make decisions. So let's keep it simple. Let's pro dispatchers do their job and let's pro drivers do their job. In having both in mind that we are a team. So as a dispatcher, we're going to make sure that you are safe on the road, that you're going to correct area, that you still making profit. You as a driver, you're gonna make sure that you are on time, you giving me updates, you take care of equipment, you take care of paperwork, and you actually helping me. How important it is for drivers to relay information to new dispatchers, especially new dispatchers. Say, well, you know what, Alex, maybe next time we should not take loads from this facility because you know what, it was really tight turn, they were actual route, it's impossible. So I mean, I did do a good job because a lot of drivers are good drivers, but still it took me longer to back up, it took me longer, I wasted time. This is not a good facility. So if you're a good dispatcher, you're gonna write it down. Even if you book the load, well, you can cancel the load and you can say to the broker, unfortunately, we already went there, my driver is not willing and I am not willing to jeopardize my equipment. That's what good dispatchers do, right? So what else? You need to start taking breaks. Boys and girls in dispatching, boys and girls in safety, you cannot start working from 7 to 5 to 6 in the same position in the same room. You need to get up and get out. If your office is not letting you take breaks, well, you should make sure you talk to your management. We sit a lot, we look at the computer, we get stressed out. So for us, just to sit 8 hours straight or 6 hours straight is not healthy. And you start doing a good job because you just sit and you're like, oh my God, I cannot wait until this day over. And you start booking nonsense. Why? Because you simply want to just get rid of this truck. You could just want to get rid of this driver. Because again, because you are tired physically and emotionally. So really comfortable chair is a must. If you work at home, make sure you organize your space that it brings you joy. Maybe the pictures of the family. Maybe you have the luxury of looking in the window, right? Make sure you have water next to you. Make sure you have some snacks. Make sure that you get up and get out of this little room. A lot of you work from the basement. A lot of you work from tiny room. Don't ever make an office in your bedroom because this will affect your dispatching. We cannot be in the same room where we sleep when we work 24/7. Nowadays, guys, I mean, I know some of you maybe don't have a luxury of having bigger space, but you can go and rent a small space. Offices right now, not that expensive. In some area, you can go and rent your space. First, it's going to be good for you to get out and be on schedule. Secondary, if you still work at home, at least make sure maybe once a while you switch your office, right? Because it does affect the way you work. If you work in a big office, well, make sure you get out. Make sure you go for the grab the sandwich because you legally should have a break. And if your management tells you, oh no, the driver is not covered yet, well, maybe you should make a team mates in your office. If this is your time to take a break, the other dispatcher can answer the phone, the other dispatcher can deal with his drivers. But guys, I've seen it so many times why people burn out in trucking industry because it's it's like no culture in those offices. They want you to sit there from 7 to 5. They want you not to even able to walk to the restroom. They want you to just stare at that computer, and what's happening? Nothing happening, because if you did not pre-plan in a bad area, if you did not prioritize your loads, it's nothing's gonna change. If you do not have a list who you can reach out, just sitting and staring at that computer is not going to improve your workflow. So organizing your space, uh understanding what you're gonna do tomorrow. So instead of worried about what I have to do tomorrow, I make a one habit. I write the list where my trucks are tomorrow, although I can look at the TMS, but I like to write. You know why? Because when I write and I say, well, tomorrow my truck is here, 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 I'm getting out of my head. Because the hardest problem for dispatchers, it's not to dream about loads. It's not to listen to conversation in your head over and over, because we have so many phone calls. We have so many different drivers, shippers, receivers, that you start memorizing the loads, commodities, this and this, and then the time for you to go to sleep, you cannot even fall asleep. So please, just use it as a little trick. Write it down. This way, you know, your mind knows that you already have a plan for tomorrow. So now you are done working. Now you can go and do the things. And remember, emergencies nowadays, it's easy. We all have our apps, we all have our emails. So don't just sit there and start steering, right? If that's a real emergency, your driver will text you, he will call you. But if you are dispatcher for the big company, you know what? You should give those duties to the owners of the company, to after hours department, right? To managers, because unfortunately, when they hire you as a dispatcher, did you agree to be 24/7 dispatcher? I don't think so. I don't think that we get compensated to be 24/7. But it's all comes with building boundaries, right? So boundaries between you and company driver, boundaries between you and owner operator, boundaries between owner of the companies. Just because you're owner of the company and I provide dispatch service, it doesn't give you right to call me with nonsense at 10 p.m., to text me on Saturday, Sunday, and make request in the middle of the night. I'm sorry, but we work together. We have to respect each other, and we need to make sure that if my job is done, I also have working schedule, right? I am not 24/7 answering machine, right? And if you came to this business as a owner of trucking company, person should realize that it's them and them who have to deal with those problems, or they need to have a team which is trained to deal with after hours nonsense, with maintenance, with hiring drivers, right? Because a lot of people come to this and they hire you as a dispatcher, or they hire you as a safety manager, and they put in all these duties on you: accounting, safety, complaints, drivers, all of this. Guys, it will be impossible. You're gonna start hating trucking. And I don't want you to start hating trucking. I want you to learn and be the pro and really enjoy working in trucking. I'm gonna answer a few questions after. Of course, you guys are gonna put a like and comment. trick, guys. Stop drinking too much coffee. See, this is a bad habit, and I really need to stop drinking this much coffee because then your brains is like wired up all time, and actually it stopped working. So we need to cut on the coffee intake. We need to make sure we have a good water next to us. We need to make sure we some healthy snacks and maybe some stretching exercise. So make sure you do find the time for yourself, right? So let's say hi and answer a few questions. And again, today, guys, we're not learning anything new. We're just talking about how stressful it is to be a dispatcher or be a safety manager, or do you have to prepare yourself to managing the stress if you decide to become a big boss and open that trucking company, right? Because this is everybody's dream. So let's see who we have. Well, we have our members from South Carolina. Thank you. Hello, hello. Well, we have Brittany. She is our dispatcher, right? So she's our little star there. She took the classes a long time ago. And I do think that sometimes she is under the stress, especially when market went down. So we as a dispatchers, we get comfortable when market is up because it takes less time, right? We make more money because the more girls you have, the more money you make as a dispatcher. Then we get used to this lifestyle. Then we get used to working only 2-3 hours, and suddenly market goes down. Now you feel, oh my God, I have to work harder. I don't want to sit 5-6 hours because now I change my lifestyle. I go exercise. I spend more time with kids, with a family. And now I have to work on Saturday. Now I have to even log in on Sunday because market is down. So you do need to reorganize the way you work right now. So that's why pre-booking, maintaining relationships is still gonna help you, right? And sometimes you cannot take it personal if your owner operator was not prepared for market to go down. Because can they blame you if they have breakdown now and they had no maintenance account? Not really. So start educating them. So next time when the market's gonna go down even more, they know what is it gonna take. Because a lot of you are working with newbies in this business. So you are new, they are new. And when the market goes down, oh my God, everybody's under the stress, right? So don't give up on the relationship. Keep talking, improving, and seeing that maybe you guys have to incorporate extra technology, or maybe you need to cut on some expenses. Maybe before your owner gave you truck stop and that and another load board. Well, I can tell you this, all the loads on those same load boards. So maybe you can suggest, well, you know what, we don't really need this load board. I'm okay with working with just this load board. Or maybe I'm gonna sign up for my own load board because I have five of you. Each of you is paying that 179. I can pay as a dispatcher 179, still do a good job, but I am cutting your cost, right? Instead of 175, now each of you paying $15. It seems like not much, but when you start looking at the numbers, it can help some carriers to survive. Here's a funny question. I had a class again on Sunday, and we do have a student who also the owner of the company. And his question was, Alex, can I start canceling physical insurance because I am barely surviving? Guys, you cannot start cutting on insurance. You cannot start driving without insurance. It's the same if let me do this business and hope for the miracle. Well, miracles in trucking do not happen. And some people might give you advices that, oh my God, I did it for years. I never put a truck on a physical. I never put a truck on liability. I was okay. Well, again, some people are getting lucky, but you might be that person. So the moment when you're gonna cancel that physical insurance, or you're not gonna add your driver because he doesn't have enough experience, and your progressive quad is killing you, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna put the CDL of my friend just to get the quad down. Believe it or not, you're gonna lose more money in the long run. You're gonna end up losing your company sooner or later. You're gonna end up with non-renewal notice for your company because nowadays with all that, oh my god, that's here, with all the technology, right? The companies got smarter. Insurance companies, they check on you. The drivers check on you. So, would you like to run the business and fake all this? No, this is not a smart decision. So, hello everyone. Hello from Colorado. Hello from Phoenix. Hi, what time is it now? What time is it now? Where? What time is it now in Chicago? Well, it's 6:26 p.m. We are Central Time. Basic knowledge. Okay. And Brittany confers, OMG, it went down. Well, Brittany, there's the news for you. It's still gonna go down in August. And the prediction is that it's going to go down another 19-21%. So that's why talking right now to the owners, changing that plane, being prepared for this. This is a knowledge. So all of the dispatchers nowadays, please start reading, start looking at the data, start looking what's going on. I mean, we've been lucky. The fuel went down a little bit last week, right? So hopefully it changed. But the fuel went down, the prices went down as well because it's all correspondence together. Okay, people are bidding so low, so making the market low. Well, why people are bidding low? Because we have overcapacity. We have too many trucks. Especially, we have too many new entrants. Who are new entrants? People who got in this business last year. We had 128,000 new entrants. It is 48% higher than prior year. Why? Because market was paying. So people jumped. They bought those overpriced trucks. And now they are taking those loads because they think that they make money. If they really calculate, they actually running in the minus. So still they not making those payments, but it's gonna take them a while to realize. Usually it takes up to 9 months for owner of trucking company to realize that he already been in minus for the last 6 months. And again, why? Lack of knowledge, lack of financial education, because money come in. You stop paying late for trucks. You stop paying late for the driver. So you think that you still making money. So that's why owners of the company, they have to start educating themselves. They need to see, is that even make sense for me to keep hiring those drivers? Does it make sense for me to give in this cross country loads? Does it make sense for me to pay $10 per mile? How can you survive? I'm telling you, sometimes the decisions are not going to be the one you want to make, but it's a business. And some of you, unfortunately, don't take me wrong, but maybe some of you should prepare and file bankruptcy before you're gonna spend all the money from your personal accounts, from your friends, before you're gonna start borrowing more money. Because if the reality already not in positive way, if you cannot even break even, staying longer, you're gonna actually hurt yourself even more. But that comes with what? With realization, with counting, with really looking at the numbers, not just sitting and listening to stories, right? From YouTube, from your friends. No one ever gonna tell you the truth, because every driver, when they talk to each other, wow, I am still driving $4 per mile. Really? When? When they reach out to you, those friendly and pro dispatch services, they still promising that they're gonna give you 12, 15,000 a week. How? How? From where? Where are you gonna drive? Where are you gonna swim? What are you gonna carry? I don't know. So reality is different. And again, it comes with the knowledge. Nowadays, we have so many resources, free resources. You simply have to Google. You simply have to read extra few pages a day. You have to watch the news, and you have to put A and B together. I'm telling you one more time, ignorance is a choice. If you know that you lack in skills, communication skills, then start reading books on how to improve your communication skills. record yourself, see what went wrong with the conversation. Why is the brokers hanging up on you? Why is they not even listening to you? Well, maybe you cannot even put two words together. Colin, I'm here, Chicago, driveway, boom, done. Of course, why? Because you don't even know that load is picking up in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin for drive-in for today, going to where? To FT Wayne, EN. You don't even know that it's a Fort Wayne, Indiana. So how they not gonna hang up on you? So if you know that you need to improve something, then improve, right? And people say, "Oh, my English is not good. It's a second language." Well, my English is not as good as well, but I do take care of my conversation. I'll make sure that I come up strong and I know what I need to ask, right? So that's why we have to be realistic. If you need to improve something, then improve. If you know that you lack in organizing your time and you all over the place, then start organizing your time. Put the app how to organize your time. Well, I need to do this, this, and this. Well, now it's my break time. I am done for today. We have so many apps nowadays that can help you and they are free, right? So it's no excuses. Excuses are for losers, right? Excuses are for people who are always find something wrong, right? Oh, come on. Why I never became a dispatcher? For example, the person been driving and driving. Oh, because I'm still too young. The brokers are not gonna listen to me. The drivers are not gonna want to work with me. Are you kidding me? This is a stupid excuse. Oh, you know, I cannot open company because I don't really know how. Okay, then go learn, right? Oh, I don't know if I could ever dispatch. Well, then figure out, can you dispatch, right? I mean, guys, nowadays, in this time and age, it's just you, and you. I cannot make you a pro. God cannot make you a pro. Only you can put the steps, you can put your skills, and you can work on it. So that's my message for today. Start learning, start improving, start looking at other people. If you need to be a copycat, maybe you need to start copying how they carry the conversation, what they do, what steps they do. Talk to your drivers, came up with a plan, make up your management plan, right? Improve, improve, and improve. If you want to survive, this is doesn't matter which industry, trucking, non-trucking, you do need to improve. So let's see who else we have. We have very good advice. Thank you. Okay, in Ohio, bipolar weather as well. Again, weather challenges, right? People who work with the reefers right now, it's have been very hot. So eliminate taking those minus 10 degrees, right? If you know that your reefer is not in good condition, even if it's in a good condition, you'd better take the dairy product. You'd better take the candy. Maybe you'd better even take the dry load right now, right? So stay away. Stay away from that. Well, what else we have? We have hello, hello. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot feel overweight per axle. Well, we're not talking exactly per axle, but Constantine, come on, don't give me a hard time. You know when you start driving, you know when you look at the BOL that you overweight, especially if you have nowadays the trailers. The trailers have a system on them so they can help you. If not, install it, right? $1,500 and you're gorgeous. So yes, the good driver, he always knows that he is overweight, unless I'm wrong. Again, my mind, that's what my drivers tell me, that's what I always hear from them, and I know that we don't have a problem with this because first, all our trailers have that system installed as well, so it helps them. But do we have to go to scale? Yes, we do. Do I let my drivers to drive at night because they decide that no, they're not gonna go and reload? No, that I don't. But I do have owners of the company who tell me, well, this is our decision. We don't want to go back. We don't want to lose time. So if I'm only dispatching them and they want to ruin their safety, if they want to take their chance, it's up to them. I can advise, I can tell them what has to be done to survive. But again, not my business. I'm just a dispatch service and I'm trying to help them with their safety and compliance. You can give advices, you can give what? Procedures, policies, but who has to implement it? Owner of the company. Drivers have to implement. Just making the plans, just writing the policy, this is only two steps. Implementation, this is the last step. So if we're not gonna implement them, it's not gonna work. Okay. Moon sounds more optimistic. Okay, Constantine. Yes, we have a great load to the moon and back, even backhaul. How much? $10 per mile. How many drivers are willing to go to the moon? Uh can you train me? I have been in business 7 years. Then I needed set up care package and other things. Okay, can you train me? Well, if you've been in business as what? As a owner operator, you've been in the business as a driver. Yes, you can sign up. Okay, as a driver and all company business is too low. Okay, so and owner comment with is too low. Well, kind of confusing what you asked me, but if you still lacking the knowledge in process of the paperwork, yeah, you should sign up for the classes because you need to know as owner of the company how to do setups, how to manage invoicing, how to calculate your cost. You need to make sure that you are knowledgeable. If you already been 7 years in business, well, you should know most of it. But again, if you were in business as a driver but now you open a company, you probably still lacking a lot of things that you need to put together. Again, sign up for classes or find somebody who is going to help you, who is going to teach you how to set up companies, how to check on the credit, how to monitor your dispatchers, right? How to monitor your drivers, right? Even the simple things. How do you know if they are still in fuel for you? Do you pay attention for your MPG, for your IFTA calculations? Because nowadays, believe it or not, the drivers will be smiling in your face and they go and they still fuel for you. And you think that you are in minus? Well, why? You have five, six drivers, and each of them goes and resells even $100 a day for fuel. Well, you are in minus because you simply are not checking your numbers. And that's what you need to know. How do I check? What is my MPG? What is the MPG for this truck? How much we are spending? Where he was going? Is he going through mountains all the time? Maybe you need to switch your terrain. Maybe you should not go through the mountains when you are so heavy, right? Maybe you need to do that preventive maintenance. Is your driver taking care of your truck, right? How does your folder for the truck is looking? Is everything organized? Why is your drivers getting stopped all the time? Well, maybe because you don't have a clean signs. Maybe because your drivers, when they get stopped, they give this dirty folder which is falls apart. That's why. Because if I would be inspector and I take in that folder and I cannot even find the stuff which should be in the folder, well, I will find something to give you bad inspection, to give you violation, right? So knowing all this safety, compliance, paperwork is so important, and making goal and plans and seeing what market doing, right? um okay. The only class, okay, the only thing I'm studying and still having a hard time is the trip planning. Again, the trip planning is gonna come when you're gonna have in front of you log into ELD, when you're gonna start calculating. But by now, you should already have a really, really clear understanding of cycle, of shift, of brakes, of adverse driving. How does it work, right? Your driver habits, split 7 and 3, 2 and 8. So you need to know that the only way you're gonna start practicing that, if you're gonna start putting on a map, load from here to here, look at the hours, and of course not Google hours. You have to remember that we are truck. So if the Google tells you it's gonna take you 5 hours, no, it's not gonna take you 5 hours. You have to understand where is your truck going through. Is he going even which day of the week, what time of the day? If he is picking up at 5 p.m. in Chicago or Atlanta or New Jersey, well, Google can tell you 30 minutes, but it's not going to take you 30 minutes. It's going to take you hour and a half. So you have to sit down and start practicing. So you start picturing if he gets unloaded, he has 20 minutes. Let's say he's gonna get loaded for 2 hours. How many more miles approximately in a perfect condition he can drive, right? So multiply by 60, 62 miles. So he's gonna end up somewhere here. He's gonna go to sleep for 10 hours or 7 hours or 8 hours if he was using that. And then what time he's gonna wake up, how much more time he's gonna use from the next logbook. So this is only a practice. So if you're not sitting, not looking at the logbook, not putting the miles together, not actually dividing, it's never gonna click. So you do need to practice that. It's not gonna come just, just by listening to me or just looking at ELD. You need to know the rules, you need to apply the rules. Okay. Who is else? Who else do we have? We have, hello, I love this lives. It's so informational. Thank you. Hi, from Orlando, Florida. Hello, it's Eric. Hi, Eric. Here's a guy who told me, Alex, give me the list. What are your requirements for each carrier? And I'm gonna give you that list by next class. But again, your requirements is gonna come from you. But some of the things you should implement with your carriers, with your drivers. To what? To prevent the claims, to make sure that the process is going smoothly, even tracking, right? Micro tracking of your drivers. Don't the driver have to be on the same team? Yes, he has. So maybe one of your requests, if you guys want me to dispatch you, you will have to accept micro tracking. You will have to give me updates in and out. You will have to tell me right away if something is wrong with a truck or trailer and you need maintenance or breakdown. You're gonna help me and you're gonna tell me if this facility was easy or not, right? You're gonna give me all these updates. We're gonna be a team. So then we can work together, right? So we're gonna improve all this. OMG, OMG 8K, this is me. I don't know what this referring, Brittany, to K. You making 8,000 a week, or you make as a dispatcher, or you making 8K as a gross per truck. So you have to specify. Come on. Who else? Marta, hi, how are you? Thank you. God bless you too. I think I'm working on my letter to you to try for the August class. Well, I don't know what it's reference, probably with the members. For our August class, we already got our free entrance. So we already gave the free class. So the next time we're gonna do it for October class. We already got our 4 free classes for August. Okay. At the end, the health is more important than wealth. Set boundaries. Brain needs to rest without caffeine in the system, at least 7 hours at night of quality sleep. God bless you. Yes. So let's go back to that healthy mind. Only healthy mind can be productive. And this is in your hands. Driver cannot control your healthy mind. Owner of the company cannot just buy your healthy mind by giving you extra work. So you as a person who deciding to do this, you have to have the boundaries, you have to have schedule, and you have to learn to say no. This is the hardest thing, to learn to say no. If something is toxic to you, you have to learn to say no. Is if you are overworking, you need to say no to yourself. You need to cut the time off and say, you know what, this is enough. I already work. I am done for today. Because just sitting and spending extra 2 hours in your room or looking at your emails is not really bringing any productivity. So you have to start saying no to yourself as well. And you need to say yes to what? To positivity, to organization, to improving your skills, multitasking, doing it faster, maybe organizing even your desk, right? Buying that bigger monitor. It's can actually drastically change. Ordering that new chair, that support, right? Maybe it's also gonna improve. Having that extra water right there next to you can improve your workflow, because when you are in a good settings, when you can just look at some picture and smile to it, if you have even scents which relieve your stress, maybe some candle or something, it can help you. Because if you are not in stressful situation and you can work productively, you can make decisions better, you can actually finish stuff faster, right? People asking me, Alex, how do you do all these things, right? How do you do run the classes, you still dispatch, you own your company, you do insurance, you do real estate, you still find the time for lives and everything else, for family, for garden, for tomatoes, right? For still traveling, for cooking, going, doing your pilates, taking care of your nails yourself. The only way you can do that, if you really gonna organize your time and you're gonna start saying no. If some people are toxic for you, you're gonna cut those conversations. If as of today, for example, you done working, you're not gonna be answering your phone, because if that's business related, well, I will take care of it tomorrow. It took me a long time to get to this point. I am telling you, this was so toxic. When you have a lots of trucks, when you have a lot of drivers, and every just want to take piece of you, you got to the point when my relationship with kids were ruined, when I became a crazy, mean person. I couldn't talk normally to people, right? I had to scream to my drivers, and it was not their fault, because I was overworking, I was overdoing it, and believe it or not, it was not productive. Delegation. Sometimes you need to give it away. If you don't want to do something or it's too much for you, hire someone, right? That's why people say, well, oh, Alex, you're not responding to emails with a, well, I have somebody who is going to respond. If I feeling that this class is too much for me, I am going to cut the registration, right? And this time I took less students because I was like, you know what? It was too much for me. So understanding what's going on with you is important. And you have to put it on everyday routine. You have to make a plan. You have to start with healthy mind, and you have to finish with good positivity. So market is down. If you're gonna say, oh my God, today another bad load, what am I gonna do tomorrow? You start worrying about this today. So when tomorrow comes, you're already in that state of mind, like, oh my God, it's not gonna be a good day. I'm not gonna find the load. It's so hard. So you actually putting yourself in that position. And believe it or not, that's what you get in, because you kind of already program yourself for another bad load. You already program yourself for another broker who did not make appointment. So that's why finishing your day, writing down the plan for tomorrow, and walking away. You have to separate trucking and your personal life. You have to, otherwise you're not gonna succeed, or you're just gonna quit, or unfortunately you're not gonna do a good job. And you're gonna be one of those desperate drivers who always make mistake, who gets into accident, or you're gonna be the desperate dispatcher who switches carriers and never actually builds a good relationship, or you're gonna be the desperate owner who never grows and cannot find the right team. So it's all in your hands. Learning, changing yourself, doing the best you can do, and stop guilt tripping yourself. We are humans, so we all make mistake. We get better with the time. The time is going to show you what has to be done better, but technology nowadays is a must. So you do need to help yourself, right? Better internet, better computer, maybe some extra programs, some app to remind you to stay focused. And everything else will come. Hi Alex, do you require owner operators? I don't know, we were planning to add few owner operators in September after my big travel plans, but to become an owner operator for our company, you have to have 2 years CDL experience for sure. And we are mostly reefer companies, so we do hire people with reefers. Although nowadays I don't really care, you can be a dry van, but reefers is my preferred trailer type. So you can reach out to me and we can talk. We have to check your PSP. We have to make sure we know that you're a good driver and you do have the mindset of the person who wants to come and succeed, right? So, unfortunately, no more BS. I can afford not to take everybody just so because I want to hire the drivers. I already went through that. So not worth it, not for you, not for me. Relationship between owner operator, company owner, dispatcher has to be healthy. Only this way we can succeed and survive all the market changes and everything else. Healthy mind is only for dispatchers. Drivers have back pain, high blood pressure. Yes, CTC, stop driving. Learn how to dispatch just for that reason. Love yourself, grow, take classes. Well, thank you. But still, we still need the drivers. So drivers have to learn how to take care of themselves. And nowadays, yes, that's why you need to be a smart driver and work as a team. We don't need to keep running through those team loads when you are a solo driver, right? We need to make sure that your sleeping routine is there. So where does it come from? From teamwork, from a dispatcher, right? Because if your dispatcher's on top of the things, he kind of knows your schedule and he would never, ever punish the driver. That's why a lot of times brokers pay extra money for me, but I'm not gonna take that load because maybe it's picking up at 3 a.m. Why would I punish my driver when he needs to get his rest? No, I better negotiate the load to the same amount which picks up at 8 or 8:30 or 9 and he doesn't have to deadhead. So that's why dispatchers have to have in mind drivers because drivers do have to go not through only emotional stress but physical stress. Same as a dispatcher. Well, my back hurts too by sitting all those hours, right? So that's why maybe drivers have to organize also their time, right? When they drive, when they eat, so they have to talk to dispatchers. So I know, well, you know what? I have a lot of drivers who have exercising equipment with them, and that's what they like. That why they like for me to find the loads in the same facility. So that's why he's unloading and loading. He has an extra time and he can go and exercise. Some of my drivers, they carry bikes with them. Some of them they have all the stretching stuff and everything because unfortunately to survive in trucking you do have to be healthy, right? And eating habits and everything else. So not an easy industry. Being a driver is not easy. It's a hard, harsh environment. It's hard. And that's why we need to understand it. And sometimes driver will lose his cool, right? But you as a dispatcher, still, you have to always remember you are in safe environment. You're not on a road. So screaming back, pushing your drivers, fighting when the person is on the road, you actually putting other people in danger because the angry driver who fights with you right now, well, he's the one who can cause the accident. He's the one who might lose his life as well. So sometimes as a dispatcher, you have to just kind of like say, okay, let me take care of it. We can talk later because you, again, you are in a safe environment. You're not on the road. So being a little bit maybe softer, maybe sometimes just saying, okay, let's talk about it later. Let's finish this load. I know maybe it's not a great load. Let's talk about it. Let's talk after you had your dinner. Let's talk after you had your shower. Let's talk when you and me can talk, not when I'm receiving 15 calls and when you in traffic and now we want to start hitting each other's head and oh my god it has to be done today, right? Well, it doesn't have to be done this minute. We all know when is the time to talk. We all know when the time to complain. And sometimes we know that it's already done. Can you change can you change your past? No, you cannot change your past. Can you go and bring that load back just because a broker did not make appointment? No, you cannot. So problem solving. Screaming, fighting with each other is not gonna get you far. As a dispatcher, take an extra step. Don't just wait to the broker to get involved. Call the receiver, call the shipper, Find out who is a manager, find out who is a security. Start talking to them, start looking for another human response, right? Sometimes just calling them and explaining. Unfortunately, we had rate confirmation, an appointment was confirmed, but the broker was not truthful. My driver did a great job. He drove, he did not eat, he did not sleep yet. Guys, can you please help me out? 95% of the time, my driver will still get unloaded if the situation happens. But I try to prevent it by what? By making sure I call and check appointments, by making sure I don't go to some facilities. I don't care. Sometimes TQL does not want to give me load and they don't give me who is a shipper, who is a receiver. I say, I'm sorry, TQL, I'm a pro dispatcher. I am not gonna book your load until you tell me who is the shipper and receiver. Find somebody else. Why? Because I need to know where I'm going, what I am delivering, when appointment made, right? So this is a part of being pro dispatcher. And agree, say no to toxic people and overwork. In this way, you can buy a longer life. Well, we cannot buy a longer life, but we can manage to live a long and healthy life if we can learn how to work productively and how to get rid of um, some some bad habits, right? Bad habits in managing your time, working for toxic people. How much do the work how much do dispatchers work a day? We're going back to, are you a company dispatcher or you independent dispatcher? How good is the market? How bad is the market? How many trucks are you dispatching? What kind of equipment? So to answer this, again, if you are a company dispatcher, usually they work from 7 to 5, 5:30, 7:30 to 5. So this is usually working hours. And you dispatch what? From 5 to 8 trucks if you are a beginner, and sometimes they push more trucks on you. I can tell you this, to dispatch good and not to be overworked and still love what you do, you cannot dispatch more than 10, 12 trucks. Unless what? Unless you dispatching 18 trucks and this is a big company and most of the loads are the same loads. So you just only schedule it. If you have 8 drivers who do the same loads back and forth, then yes, you can take care of it because you're only going to be scheduling. Okay, this guy is picking up today, this guy tomorrow. So then, yes, you can manage 18 trucks. But if you looking for the loads every day, if you doing paperwork, I mean, as a human, unless you want to be a superhuman, then you can dispatch more than 12 trucks. But this is too much. For beginners, 2 to 5 is the best number until you get comfortable, until you get fast. Independent dispatcher, I am big on providing extra, giving safety and compliance instead of adding carriers. So you charge extra and you dispatch maybe 4 or 5 trucks and making the same money if you would dispatch 7 8 trucks. You'd better do a better job. Make sure that they are profitable, make sure that they are safety and compliance in place, because I mean, everybody has a different level of how much money you want to make. But then maybe going and adding stuff, maybe becoming an insurance agent for trucking, right? Maybe start selling equipment on the side, service in this industry, right? Because nobody wants to just sit and dispatch 20 trucks a day, right? I don't think it's that fun job, especially when market is down. Okay. uh is there a system we need to buy to sorry guys, is there a system we need to buy to see the driver's ELD? Well, your driver is going to have ELD, right? So each ELD has presence online login so you can see. You cannot buy a separate system to see their ELDs. If the driver has keep trucking, let's say, then you're gonna have login to keep trucking. If the driver has GPS tab, then you're gonna have login to GPS tab. If the driver has Samsara, then you're gonna have login to Samsara. So this is not a separate system. you're gonna have login to exactly the device that he is using. And all ELDs, they do have online presence, right? That's electronic login device. So you will be able to see what your driver does. Well, we will be done for today. Stay healthy. Don't stress out. That things gonna get better, and market hopefully it's gonna change soon. But before it's gonna get better, it's gonna get a little worse. And that's why managing your stress is important. Staying healthy and positive is important. Predicting what is gonna happen tomorrow, it's not possible, but pre-planning is a must. Knowing what is your route gonna be for this guy is a must. Choosing the broker you work with is a must. Talking to your driver and knowing his plans is a must. Asking Alex about what's gonna happen in 2 weeks, well, we can sit here and chat. Again, you have to be a part of most of the trucking industry newsletters, some Instagram. You have to start reading economic, digest all the newspaper, what's going on, supply, demand, what's going on all planet, right? Because trucking does not just get affected by what? By USA, right? So that's why you're gonna become a pro dispatcher. You're gonna put things together. Who is this? We have the last one. Hi, Alex. I have one local driver and one OTR. I must admit, the last month has been quite difficult and stressful. This life was what I needed. Okay, so it is stressful because market is down. So you have to make extra phone calls, right? You have to pre-plan, but it's gonna get better because you're gonna become a pro. And to become a pro, you have to relive all 12 months, all the holidays, all the seasons, all the nonsense. And in the end of the day, you will be pro no matter what, because you're going to set up your mind that you are pro. You're going to learn, you're going to read, you're going to improve, you're going to do it better. So every day you're gonna put a little extra in that jar, which we call being a pro dispatcher. And then you're gonna go to Amazon and you order a big cup and you're gonna say pro dispatcher. Maybe I should start making that and sell it from my YouTube channel. So when you feel that you are putting in that jar knowledge, skills, your good positive energy, right, your logical thinking, after you fill out that cup, finally, you can call yourself a pro. But life changes, new things coming up, so it's always learning process. You're never gonna stop learning if you want to succeed. But here I am. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for coming to my classes. I appreciate, because of all of you, I am able to share my knowledge, and hopefully one person at a time we can change trucking for better. And remember, the next class starts August 27th. It's coming up. Unfortunately, lots of you miss our safety classes we started, but IFTA is coming up. So if you still looking for IFTA and permits class, do not miss it. It's going to be in 2 weeks, July 23rd, because next one is going to be in October. And of course, like, comment, ask questions, and together we can change trucking for better. And here I am, Alex, your sassy dispatch girl, and your pushy instructor, right? Who tells you to do all the homeworks. Love you all and see you soon. Bye, guys.